Hello, everyone. Hello. Let me know if you can hear me. I just want to make sure that the audio is working. Welcome to another live. I want to make sure I'm not frozen. There we go. Okay. Hi. Oh, great. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Linda. Welcome. It's good to be here with you guys. Hi. I wanted to jump on and share a message about our resonance and what's going on with us right now. Many of us. One of the stages of ascension is resonance and understanding resonance more and more. So I wanted to talk about that today. Welcome, everyone. Hello. So good to be here with you guys. Kathy, Andrew, Marlene, Kelsey, Stuart, Amrita, Rebecca, Shirley, Sandra, Stanley. Happy Friday, happy Saturday, wherever you are. Settle in. I love when we're live because it always just feels so good to connect energetically. And remember that we're not doing this alone. It is really powerful and potent times, as it has been for a while, but even more so in 2020. And I'm jumping on to share about what many of you may be feeling, which is our resonance, your resonance, right? And what that means, what that looks like in every now, and how it's actually literally shifting your realities. So the more that we begin to hold the light that's coming into our physical forms, the more our frequency within our body increases. So the more light we receive, the higher our frequency will become, right? And because we're very dense, it's always this up and down sort of integration, anchoring, assimilating, and acclimating, right? So there's always this up and down that's happening. It's never just this sort of straight line up. And so we're constantly receiving more light. Our body's constantly integrating it and anchoring it. And we're continuously shifting into higher frequencies, regardless of what we are feeling in every now. We're always shifting into these higher frequencies, right? And then just doing this back and forth, anchoring, integrating, assimilating. We have an energetic field around us, right? It's 1.5 feet out. Every human form has it. And this energetic frequency is literally how we are designed to navigate this consciousness, because remember that you are consciousness. You're in a form. So consciousness, which is light codes, created your form from a 12th dimensional frequency. So anything that's form is just condensed down. The frequency of where it originated from shifted down into a lower frequency and became form. So everything that you see that is form is actually a much higher state of consciousness. It just shifted down. So we are designed, because we stand in a field of consciousness, regardless of whether it is form or not, we are designed to navigate this field that we're in right now, or any other field, which is a dimension, energetically. So of course, we have an energetic field around us. And this energetic field allows us to experience the external. This is also how you can experience your frequency in the now. Your body vibrates, your body holds a frequency, that frequency vibrates. That vibration moves out into the energetic field. Your energetic field holds that vibration, and then it sends a pulse out based on that vibration. So you're walking around, and based on the frequency that's in your body, it creates a vibration that moves into the energetic field, and then it pulses that vibration out. Every human form has it. Every form has it out there. A tree, a bird, a bee, a human, any form out there living has that vibration. A rock, right? Anything. Because we are designed to navigate consciousness with consciousness. And that's what we're learning. So the more we turn on, the more light we hold in our body, the higher our frequency becomes, the more we start to open our eyes and turn on ourselves. We're like, oh shit, I'm energetic. I'm an energetic being. Oh my God, I'm supposed to be in my body. When I'm in my body, I then can feel my resonance. Resonance is the feeling of that pulse and that vibration. Resonance is your detector. It's your radar. It's your, oh, that's good. Oh, not so good. And when I say good or bad, it's not dualistic in nature. It is an energetic feeling of I'm being pulled this way because it resonates. I'm being pulled this way because it resonates. I'm pulling away from that because it's dissonance. Dissonance is when an external reality, an external consciousness, an event, a person, a place, an experience, it's all consciousness. Everything is consciousness. If it's vibrating in a frequency that is not compatible with your frequency that you're holding, with your vibration that you're pulsing out, there's going to be a dissonance. Oh, this doesn't feel good, right? And then you start navigating over to an experience, a person, place, event, whatever it is that does hold a similar vibrational frequency. And you're like, oh, that feels resonant. That feels good. Okay. Now, when we talk about feeling resonance, it's not an emotion. It's not a thought, and it's not a belief. It's an actual feeling of frequency. You are feeling your vibration. And every single now, that frequency can shift, right? And that's where we start to say, I'm crazy. Because not only are the emotions, thoughts, and beliefs that are very dense and old in the body, not only are they coming up to be seen, loved, experienced, and moved through, but we are consciously feeling our energetic field, our vibration and frequency moving up and down all day long. 1 minute, you're going to feel like hanging out with someone and being with someone, and literally an hour later, you could be like, absolutely not, I don't want to anymore. Right? One minute, you could be like, oh my God, I'm super, excited about this. And then the next, you're like, I'm not resonating. What starts to happen is your resonance continues to get stronger and stronger, meaning it gets more palpable. You start feeling it more and more and more. And based on the frequency that your body is holding, that resonance is going to be dictating your reality. It's going to be showing you what is where you're going next, right? What is being called, where you are being pulled, right? Energetically pulled somewhere. If you deny or ignore the resonance, it gets louder and louder and louder, meaning that if you are being pulled in a direction, let's say towards someone or away from someone, right? So you're being asked energetically to move away from the dissonance, which is a person, a place, an event, and you're afraid, you're nervous, you're unsure, you're not quite ready, right? So you're forcing yourself to stay in the dissonance when your energetic field is literally trying to drag you energetically, pull you energetically away. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling that you're going to start feeling. Many of you have already been feeling it, right? It's like you want to move out of your skin. You're so uncomfortable. Why am I not listening? Why am I not listening? Why am I not listening? This is what it means when you start to feel your resonance. And then what happens is you actually have to start speaking your truth, because you're still physical. And energy needs to be expressed physically, right? We are not yet telepathically communicating. So the other person, place, event, experience has no idea what you're going through. They don't understand. They're not telepathically communicating with you yet, and vice versa, perhaps, right? So what happens is we are required to express that resonance through behaviors, through words, through our boundaries. So all of a sudden, you are now being asked to speak your truth, speak up, set boundaries, say no, move out of places, move into places, right? This is happening to all of us right now. And it is because you are embodying your body physically. You are increasing the frequency within your body. You are feeling the resonance through your energetic pulse, and you can't shut it up. And you are moving into these higher states of consciousness that require completely new ways of being, new paradigms, new programming, new everything. And so the lower states of consciousness that you have been living in, you're going to start to have dissonance with. It's natural. There's nothing wrong with you. There's a dissonance that's being created because your vibration's shifting. The pulse you're putting out is shifting. That pulse, as it starts to increase, and this event, place, person, experience doesn't, guess what's going to happen? Dissonance. And guess what's happening to you? You're staying embodied. You're feeling more. And then you're saying, holy shit, this is what I'm used to. Wait a second, this is what I'm used to. What do you mean? They're not going to understand. They're going to get triggered. They're going to get angry. They're going to get frustrated because they are not yet consciously ascending in the same frequency that I am. They're going to think I'm nuts. Holy shit, I have to now speak my truth. Holy shit, now I have to make these choices and these changes and these shifts. I have to honor my sovereignty. Your sovereignty is your energetic signature. It's you. It's you. It's your beautiful light. You are learning how to stand physically in your light, in your frequency, in your vibration, and honor it. In a consciousness that isn't necessarily coming along right now. That's why you're a wayshower. You are showing the way into being in higher states of consciousness. And so when you start listening to your resonance, and others around you are not used to it, and they're not necessarily consciously going along for the ride, there's going to be perhaps a reaction, an opinion, maybe, maybe not. Triggers, maybe, maybe not. You're going to start making choices and decisions that other people on the external are going to judge. Of course they are. They're not necessarily going along with you yet. Your job is not to make decisions based on where somebody else is or what someone else's opinion, belief, or trigger is. Your job as a wayshower is to courageously remember that you are moving forward first. You are actually showing the way on how to do this. And this stage of the ascension, this stage where you can no longer ignore, that you can no longer quiet, that you can no longer shut your eyes and pretend, is the stage that requires so much courage, because you are now standing in your light saying, oh shit, now I can't keep this a secret. I actually have to start being. I have to start being this. And being it isn't just like, oh, I love everything. And, telling people about unity consciousness. And, it's not about talking about the higher states. It's not about talking about love. It's about being your frequency. It's about saying to somebody, I don't resonate any longer. I can't do this. That's being in a higher state of consciousness, right? It's honoring your voice that needs to be expressed, which is basically just you listening to the vibration of your frequency, which is always changing. And when you have a day or a now where you are in a lower frequency for whatever reason, right? You don't judge it or attach to it or get upset with it. You remember, oh yeah, energy is always doing this as I am continuing to shift into these higher states. Oh yeah, that's right. It's okay if there's a day where I am in bed for 20 hours. There's something happening with my body. I went through for the last couple of months, not to get into details, I'm not going to do specific details about what happened, but I was resisting my resonance towards something with my family and my best friend. And my resonance wanted me to do a certain thing, wanted me to speak up and say something and do it differently. But the old part of me wasn't used to that. I didn't do that. I'm this type of person. I'm generous. I take care of people. I hold people's crap. I make sure that people are okay, right? These are the things that I do, right? I hold people's stuff. I am responsible for people, my family, right? I am a very generous person. I give, right? These are the things that I hold. But what I was noticing as I was moving through my own ascension journey was, oh shit, this doesn't resonate anymore. This is not resonating. Meaning, I was not feeling good about the behaviors that I was doing. The behaviors that I was used to doing, that I was unconscious and just did, no longer felt good. And then what happened was, holy shit, that must mean that I'm not a giving person, that I'm going to have guilt, that I'm going to, all these things that I'm not a good daughter, I'm not a good sister, I'm not a good friend, right? And so then, of course, you don't want to follow the resonance. I'm like, well, I'm not going to follow what I'm being pushed to do, what my energy is telling me to do, where my resonance is, where my vibration is taking me, because then it means I have to confront all of these beliefs that may be true about myself. So I was resisting the resonance because I was afraid that would mean I was a selfish person, I would be guilty, like all these things, right, that we tell ourselves. That's old. That's holding me in that lower frequency. That's holding me in that dissonance. And over the 3 months, it got so intense that I was literally I was breaking down. I was literally breaking down because I wasn't listening to the resonance. I was ignoring it. And what happened? It got louder and it got louder. And it was this feeling of like, I don't know what to do. Even though I knew what to do, I didn't want to do it, right? And it was so intense that I wanted to like scream. It was like, I couldn't figure out what to do, how to do it. It wasn't even that big of a deal, right? I go in the shower 2 nights ago and I hear my higher self. And my higher self says, why are you not listening to me? Lori, why are you not listening to me? Why are you not listening to me? Why are you not loving yourself? Why are you not having compassion for the now moment that you're in? Why are you not having compassion? This is how you feel. Why are you not honoring that? And I just broke down. I literally dropped to my knees. And I started bawling. And as soon as I allowed myself to settle into the higher self and to allow myself to be exactly what my resonance was asking of me, which was to let go of holding all of these people in my life and being responsible for them, and listening to what I needed, which was my resonance, and stop ignoring me. And at the same time, having compassion for my vibration, having compassion for my frequency. It's my frequency, it's my signature, it's my energetic signature. I should be honoring it, right? And as soon as I did that, everything, the weight was taken off of me. And I was like, I'm not these things that I said I would be if I followed the resonance. I'm not selfish. I'm not greedy. I'm not, these things. Those are belief systems that are held in an unconscious state of being, meaning that I was doing all of these things in an unconscious way because I was holding these belief systems that if I didn't, I would be this type of person. None of it was true. None of it was real. But the more conscious you become, the more it's like, oh, look at that. And the more you follow the resonance of what you want to do, the louder those unconscious beliefs are going to get. The more it's going to want to hold you in those dissonant ways. Second, you say, I'm going to listen to myself. I'm going to honor my frequency. I'm going to honor my resonance. These beliefs drop. They just drop. They're gone. They dissolve because they were never real in the first place. And I was free. I was completely free. And then I had to then physically voice the boundaries. I had to physically say what I needed now, what I needed to now do. And this is and then when I did, I had to allow the humans, my family and best friend, to have their experience with it, right? They could have whatever experience they were going to have. It was no longer my job to control any of that. My job was to listen to me. My job was to listen to my resonance. My job was to follow my truth, my signature, because it's always leading me to the next highest version of me. I'm being asked to step into this higher aspect of me. I'm being asked to step out of this old program and paradigm that I'm responsible for everyone, that I need to carry everyone, that I need to take care of everyone, because that's the right thing to do, the good thing to do. I needed to give when my heart said give, right? I needed to provide in the now moment state. I don't provide or give based on restricted, this is what you give people when you give it to them, blah, blah, blah. That's not how I work. And I was forcing myself to be that way. As soon as I let go and I let everybody know, hey, guess what? It's all stop. It's going to stop. And I'm going to give in the moment, in the now, when I feel like giving. And that's freedom. That's expansion. That's how I'm moving forward. And that's how I need to do it. Done. The weight's off. You're now in resonance with your behavior. You're in resonance with what you're speaking. You're in resonance with your vibration. And then you're in a flow state. You're in a now moment. You're no longer feeling tight, restricted, stressed, sick, anxious. But it takes navigation, right? It took me 3 freaking months, right? So it depending upon how massive the shift is, the pull in resonance is, it can take a while, but you have to navigate it. You have to consciously navigate this. And you have to get conscious of what you're navigating, right? Because what you're going to notice, if you're honest with yourself and authentic, is that this movement from dissonance to resonance, and then figuring out what is resonating, and then verbally and behaviorally being that, is going to require practice. But when you are standing in and being in these higher states of consciousness, your truth is the only thing that matters. which is your resonance, which is your vibration, which is your frequency. We have to live by example now. And because we are the way showers, everybody else is going to say, huh, odd. Okay. Like, you know, usually if you're going to like provide something to somebody, it's like, oh, this is what I'm going to give you. And this is when I'm going to give it to you and how, right? There's like this really sort of linear way. Rarely is it like, hey, I'm just going to give you what I want to give you when I want to give it to you, however much I want to give, blah, 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 right? It's like, all right, I guess. I have no way of expecting or knowing or nope. Now moment. We're not used to that. People aren't used to it. Well, what can I hold on to? Nothing. Nothing. Right? So we have to, we are coming out of really, really old programs and unconsciousnesses, ways of being. They're not going to resonate anymore. You're going to be feeling a lot of dissonance. And then all of a sudden, you're going to have to speak. You're going to have to do. You're going to have to be. In a collective that isn't necessarily coming along. And then you're going to be standing in these higher states free, relaxed. And then the next time you feel another dissonance, it's not going to be that hard. It's going to be easier and easier and easier until eventually you are walking around holding the higher states of consciousness with all these other humans that may not be. And you're allowing yourself to only follow your radar, only following your pulse, only doing what feels right, only doing what feels good, only speaking the truth. Right? That's it. You don't know how to be any other way. This is what we're learning right now. And this is resonance. And this is frequency. So we've already been learning for quite some time how to feel emotions, how to feel thoughts, how to feel beliefs, right? Bring the unconscious into the conscious. And then we're learning unconditional love for ourselves and our experiences and how to have compassion and non-judgment, non-attachment, be the observer, right? All these beautiful steps leading us to the next step, right? You know, you're trying to observe everything. You're trying to move into a neutral state. You're watching everything come up that's very unconscious or very dense over and over again, right? Recognizing what this all is. And now we're in this stage of becoming so much more energetic because we're in the body now that we are navigating our field and our world energetically, not with the mind, not with the mind. You start to stop navigating your world with your thoughts and your mind, and you start navigating it with your energy. The mind is a beautiful computer system, and it's going to do magical things with your energetic body as you continue to shift. But the mind is not designed to navigate your world. Your energetic field is designed to navigate your world. Does that make sense? So, you're not crazy. We are learning how to be. Our frequency, our vibration, our signature. And we're given opportunities in every now. Right? So pay attention to, first of all, know that you've got this energetic field and know that there's always a pulse going out. And know that you're always going to be in every now feeling resonant or not resonant, dissonant. And watch yourself judge that, right? Because in the beginning you'll judge it. Well, I'm a good daughter. I'm not supposed to feel that way. Or I'm a good friend. I'm not supposed to feel that way. I'm a good boyfriend. I'm a good girlfriend. I'm a good husband. I'm a good wife. I'm a good sister. I'm supposed to be these ways. That's all dissolving. All of that, right? The shoulds, the contracts and the ways in which you've played yourselves out in those contracts, it's all dissolving, right? Those are programs, right? The good sister, the good wife, the good daughter, the good husband, the good boyfriend, the good grandfather, the good whatever, right? Those are all dissolving. There's no such thing as a good anything. All you need to be is your signature. That's it. In every now. And the more humans start to do that, the more we honor everyone's experience in every now. So if you see somebody, walking down the street and they're in a heightened state of anxiety, you're just like, oh, that's their energetic signature right now. They're just being them, right? If you get into a discussion with somebody, right, and they're coming from more of an angered state, you're like, oh, that's just their energetic signature right now, right? And you may see them 3 days later and they're in a completely different state. That's their energetic signature, right? It's not about you. It's never about you. It's about them expressing their energetic signature consciously or unconsciously. It has nothing to do with you. Vice versa. Vice versa. Unless you play in it, unless you allow it to impact you. But all you're doing is walking around with an energetic vibration pulsing out, and you're like, oh God, that person's got I can feel their anger. That doesn't resonate, right? Now, if you play in that anger and try and go back and forth with that anger, then all of a sudden you may start to feel that same frequency. But that's a choice. You're choosing to play in that. Consciously or unconsciously, you're choosing. Nobody makes you do anything. Nobody makes you feel anything. You're just either conscious or unconscious about it. Because we all have sovereign fields. So the more conscious you become, the more you realize, oh, I'm choosing to play in that. I'm choosing to gossip. I'm choosing to dive into that anger stage that person's in, Or, God, this person's in a really heightened state of joy, right? And I may be in a state of anxiety. And so when I'm around that person, I'm going to start to play in that joy a little bit. I'm going to allow myself to experience that joy, right? They're not throwing joy into your field. And you're not throwing anxiety into their field. It's not how it works, believe it or not. It's not how it works. How it works is you are choosing. What happens is you're not conscious. Lots of humans aren't conscious, and so what they think is that they are pulled into, they're pulling my energy, they're sucking my energy. No, they're not. It's a conscious choice. Now, if that human has a really powerful energetic field, right, it requires you to be more conscious of your energetic field, right? Because you're going to be pulled like, wow, that's strong. Wow, that's a heightened state of anger and anxiety. If I wasn't conscious, I could see how, holy shit, all of a sudden I am feeling that with that person. They didn't do anything. They didn't make me go in there and feel that. I was pulled. My own vibration was like, wow, here I go, right? If you're conscious, you're going to be like, oh no, I'm in this state. I'm in this field. This is my signature. I'm going to watch that person. I'm going to observe. Wow, look at how they are without judgment, right? There's no attachment or judgment to their signature. They're just being them. That's their pulse out. Sometimes you'll notice that you'll walk away from a conversation or you'll walk away from someone and you'll be like, oh my God, I need to shake it off, right? I need an energetic bath. It's not that their energy came into your field and they inundated you with their energy. Okay. What happened is that you experienced their frequency. You played in it, right? And so when you walk away from it, you were sort of watered down. Your frequency got watered down, right? And so it's not, you don't blame the other person. You take responsibility. You're not a victim and no one did anything to you. You just got a little unconscious in that moment and drifted into allowing yourself to experience whatever that was. And then you just shake it off. So as we start to understand this more and more, and as we start to become more resonant, we don't blame, right? We take full responsibility for all of it, for everything. It's a constant choice. It's a constant choice of following the resonance or not following the resonance, allowing yourself to play in somebody else's resonance or not, right? And the way let's say you're around somebody that's in your life that you like a parent or a sibling or in a relationship, or a friend, and they're just constantly sort of holding frequencies and consciousnesses and ways of being that just don't resonate with you, right? But for whatever reason, they're still in your life. You're still experiencing them. You can practice consciously holding your energetic frequency, right? Meaning that, okay, how am I feeling before I enter into that phone call? Or how am I feeling before I step into that coffee shop with them? If you already know that they have a kind of pattern, right? Let's say they complain a lot, or there's always something that they're kind of dealing with. Or let's just say that they hold a lot of anxiety. And so they're always sort of like anxious about life, whatever it is that their signature is, right? You know that that's sort of what is going to occur, right? So before you step into that experience with that human, you feel into your own vibration right now. What am I feeling right now? What is my resonance and frequency kind of pulsing out, right? Okay, I'm feeling expanded. I'm feeling completely aligned. I feel open. I feel a little bit of joy. I feel peace, right? Great. Here I go, right? And then you walk into that experience with that other human. And this could be with a coworker, anything, somebody that's driving you somewhere, an Uber driver, a Lyft driver. It can be anybody, your yoga teacher, whatever, right? And then you start to notice the energetic play between you and that human. As the observer, you start to notice, am I starting to engage and tap into and play with their energy? Meaning, am I starting to allow myself to feel it? Or am I holding my sovereign frequency and signature that I was having before I entered in? And am I allowing myself to stay in this? So I'm not blaming that person. I'm not getting upset with that person. I'm not getting mad at that person for pulling me. You are choosing to sit with them. You're choosing to have conversation with them. You're choosing to go back and forth with them. That's your choice, not theirs. You're choosing it. So you need to take responsibility for what happens, right? We like to blame the other person. Oh, they're an energetic vampire, or oh, they're always so negative and I always feel so bad when I leave, or they always pull me down, whatever it is, right? Well, then stop engaging. We as you shift into higher states of consciousness, we start to recognize we're actually the ones that are in charge. Nobody's doing anything. And there can be all these reasons, right? Which is great. There's always reasons that we have as to why we have to, right? So if there are reasons that you absolutely have to engage with these people for whatever reason, even though there really isn't, at the end of the day, from a higher perspective, you are in charge. You're making the choice, right? But let's just say that you have to engage with your boss right now, right? Or you have to engage with your parents, or there's things that you just have to, right? I totally get that. So you hold and start practicing this energetic signature. And I'm walking into the room, into my mother's area, and I know how my mother always is and what she's going to try to do or pull or have me feel, right? Consciously or unconsciously. Can I stand in my sovereign space? Can I be sovereign? Which is, can I be my signature? Can I be my signature in that? Right? Can I feel the dissonance that I'm going to feel? Can I feel that dissonance? I feel the dissonance, right? The dissonance is going to be an obvious feeling of like, get the hell away. I don't want to be in this room. I don't want to be in this room. I don't want to be in this room. For many of us, we still have to engage with these specific relationships for now. There will come a time where you will be in a higher state where you no longer will be putting yourself in that position. Until then, have compassion for yourself that this is the experience that you're in. Don't beat yourself up that you're still having to deal with people in your life that you don't resonate with, right? Don't beat yourself up. Just know that there will come another now moment where you will no longer be there. And at the end of the day, from an even higher state, there will come a time where you can be with all of them, regardless of their frequency, regardless of whether you're resonating or not, just by holding your field. So you'll recognize, oh, there's dissonance with this person, right? This person, it doesn't feel good necessarily energetically to be with this person because they're holding a different frequency. But I have compassion for their signature. I have compassion for their journey. I have compassion for their humanness. I have compassion for their frequency. I have compassion for it. It might not necessarily energetically feel good, necessarily good being, on a spectrum, but I'm honoring it. And I'm so comfortable in my own quote unquote skin. I'm so comfortable in my own energetic signature. I honor it. I speak it. I be it, that it doesn't matter who I'm around. It doesn't matter who comes into my space. It doesn't matter who I speak to on the phone. It doesn't matter who I engage with at the coffee shop. So it's baby steps, right? Because people are going to say, well, then we should all just be able to be with all of these people at all times. No, it's baby steps. First, you got to figure out how you're engaging with the other person's energy, right? You got to understand that you're not a victim. You got to understand that you're making that choice. You got to understand that this person's going to be wanting you to experience their frequency. You got to get clear on what's happening. It's baby steps. And then all of a sudden, you're completely and utterly able to be in anyone's frequency, no matter what it is, without being triggered or pulled or experiencing their signature. I always think of Jesus when this comes up, because he's such a beautiful example of a being in human form that was able to hold his signature. But he was also in a very heightened state of consciousness. He was in a fifth dimensional consciousness in physical form, anchored, right? Not just tapping into it like you and I are doing, right? We tap into the consciousness, we experience it, but then we move back into 3 and 4D consciousness. He was anchored in it. And so by being anchored in that really high state of consciousness, he could be with any frequency and any signature with pure love, right? With acceptance. He knew they were a being of light in physical form, right? He didn't see them as that experience, as that anxiety, as that rage, as that anger. He didn't see them as that. He saw them as a being of light in human form, experiencing a certain frequency. That's all. That's it. And he loved him. That's where we're going eventually. But we first have to understand and learn our own signature, our own sovereignty. We've got to value it. We've got to honor it. We've got to experience it. We've got to speak it. We've got to be it. We've got to remember that we're not victims. No one's doing anything to you. No one's sucking anything from you. That's why you have an energetic field around you. That's why every form has an energetic field. When you become conscious, you understand that. When you're unconscious, it feels as if there's all these things attaching and coming in, and we're just like, silly putty, just letting life roll all over us. And we're actually very sovereign beings of light in physical form, navigating consciousness with choice. So can we start to see every human, or try to, or learn to, or practice seeing, oh, that's this person that's experiencing a specific signature. It's okay. It's just their thing. How do I feel when I engage? How do I feel when I leave? Let me practice holding. It's hard when you start doing it. It's hard. You don't just go from, a third dimensional human into an aspect like how Jesus was. It doesn't happen overnight. The ascension process is about taking tiny baby steps every single now, learning how to be in the higher states of consciousness. You have to learn to be in it, which means that you have to understand all over again. You have to remember. You have to remember, oh, that's right. I am awakening into the fact that I'm actually consciousness, which is energy. And I'm actually consciousness and energy in a physical form that is also shifting consciousness and energy in its form. And I have to remember that I'm actually in a very dense, massively large, third dimensional consciousness that has a spectrum of huge amounts of duality and polarity. And I have to remember that I am designed and that I am going to unravel how to be this energy and consciousness while remaining in this physical form, navigating this intense physical field while I engage with physical humans and other physical beings. That's what we're doing. It's almost funny. It's almost hilarious. It's not just, let me just be in my heart. Let me just open up my heart and be in my heart, right? That's great, right? That works. But are you learning how to be sovereign? Are you learning how to speak your truth? Are you learning how to follow the resonance? Are you also learning that that person that you're engaging in isn't doing anything to you, right? There's all these steps in the ascension path that are much more complex than just holding higher states of consciousness. You see, through the stages of ascension, we start tapping into those higher states and we're like, oh my God, when I open my heart, holy shit, it feels amazing, right? When I start stepping into unity and abundance and love and joy, it feels like a drug. It's just like, give this to me all the time. And then what happens? You're pummeled right back down into reality, which is, oh shit, I'm physical. This is all here. Those higher states are always here, but I'm also a physical body navigating this third dimensional consciousness, bumping up against all these humans as well. My energetic field is constantly shifting and changing. God knows what's happening to all the other humans on the earth plane. And now I have to navigate this. It's not just as simple as moving into these higher states. That's like saying all I have to do is sit and meditate. No, you actually have to be a human. You actually have to get up and go to the grocery store and go to work and take care of kids and your husband and your wife and your friends. And you actually have to be human. You can't just sit and be in the higher states all the time, right? Or meditate. You actually have to engage. Most of us, not all of us. Not all of us. There's a lot of people that get to just do that, right? But for the most part, if you're human and walking around in this body, you have to engage. You have to be. And so it requires us to understand that the ascension process is much more complex, even though it's very simple, right? This is what's so hilarious about the ascension journey. It's like, holy shit, it's massively complex. If you look at it in every, if you really start dissecting it, it's like, oh my God, now I'm learning about this. Oh my God, now I'm learning about this. But when you're just in it in the now, when you're just allowing yourself to be in your now, it's easy. It's easy because all you're doing is you're just feeling your energy. That's all you're doing in every now. All you're responsible for is feeling your frequency. That holds everything. because your frequency is connected to your DNA. It's connected to your cells. It's connected to your channel. It's connected to everything, right? The more light you hold in the body, the higher your frequency term is. The higher your frequency, the more the cells are going to get activated and turn on. And when the cells get activated and turned on, the DNA gets activated and it starts to get turned on. The light codes that you hold that are in a 12th dimensional frequency and beyond start to open. They start to get turned on. They start to activate. All based on the frequency and light that you're holding inside your body. The light that's being moved into the body is what is activating the DNA. The light. You can't say, can I have more light, please? The light's just flowing in. Right? If you are in your body feeling every now, you will start to recognize that your reality is shifting. That is actually your DNA turning on, or your DNA shifting. When your reality starts to shift, just know that the DNA is shifting. It's natural. It all happens naturally. When you start recognizing that you are no longer resonating with certain things, that's your actual DNA shifting. That's you becoming a higher state of consciousness. That's your codes turning on and saying, hey, guess what? You're actually this. Oh shit, I am? Yeah. And what that means is that these things don't resonate anymore. Oh, it does? Yeah. And it also means that you're going to have to start to be certain ways. You're going to have to start to hold different ways of being. Oh shit, it does? Yeah. That's your DNA talking to you, the light codes, right? If the light codes could talk to you, they could say, hey, I just turned on a little bit louder. I just shifted into a higher frequency. I moved into a little bit higher frequency. And so we're going to ask you to be a certain way now. Fuck, what? What do you mean? Excuse my language. What do you mean I'm going to have to be a certain way now? Well, your DNA isn't it's not in that denser state anymore. You're actually going to feel different. You're going to be different. You're going to need to say things differently. You're going to want to put different clothes on. You're going to want to eat different foods. You're going to want to be alone a lot. All these things, right? That's your light codes turning on into higher frequencies. By the way, if you try to force that to happen, your body isn't going to integrate it. Your body is going to do this for you naturally by the frequency that it's holding and anchoring. It's all about the light coming in and the body holding higher frequencies. And through that frequency, through that higher frequency, the codes that are in that DNA, the cells, turn on. And as they turn on, everything starts to shift in your physical reality. You're like, I'm not who I was 6 months ago. Yeah, because your light codes are turning on. That's the ascension process. Light codes that have shifted down into consciousness, light codes that have shifted down into a dense vibration in order to be held in the body and to create the body. So they had to move into a carbon-based, slow third dimensional frequency in order to be held in the third dimensional form. But they hold much higher frequencies, just like your physical form holds much higher frequencies. The light being that you are is a much higher frequency. So your physical body is already holding you, the consciousness that you are. But you can only start to tap into it as the frequency in the body starts to increase. So you can only start to access these light codes that are actually they're in all of it. It's quantum, right? So your light codes are in a 3D field, but they're also in much higher fields as soon as the light moves into it to activate it. It's quantum. Your body is holding all these different dimensional fields right now. And so the more you turn on, the more light you hold, the higher the frequency gets, the more the light shines on it, and the more you see it. Oh God, I'm a being of light. Holy cow. Oh my God, I'm also a higher self and I am present. Oh my God, you start to turn on. You start to recognize. And then everything changes. Your whole reality changes. Everything starts to change. So there's a multitude of things that occur. It's a big stirring pot of chili or whatever, chicken soup, whatever it is, right? So all these things are happening right now, in every now. All you're designed to do and all you need to do through this is get really conscious of every now through your energetic experience, through your frequency. Oh, I'm still playing in victim mentality. That's interesting. Do I want to keep doing that? No, I'm going to change that. I'm going to choose to do something else, right? Oh, I'm still playing in this belief system that I'm always jealous of other people. I'm always insecure. I'm never good enough, right? Oh, do I want to keep doing that? I don't think so. I'm gonna choose something different, right? I'm gonna choose. I'm gonna choose to experience and play in a different reality. Because as they start to not feel good anymore, that's resonance. Your resonance is saying, hey, that way of being is dissonance. It's not feeling good anymore. I'm getting conscious, I'm becoming aware, and I'm recognizing that the actual frequency and vibration of my being doesn't resonate with jealousy anymore. It doesn't feel good. What does feel good? Loving the hell out of myself? Okay, but can I do that? I don't know. Let me try. Can I have compassion for myself? Let me try. Can I recognize that I'm a sovereign being? Like, what can you do in the now, right? What can you practice in the now? Instead of trying to sort of force yourself into something or force yourself into experiencing something or feeling something, what can you just do in your now? Gently, with compassion and love. So just remember, light is continuing to come into your body every now, flooding into your body. Remember that your body is assimilating, acclimating, and anchoring that light. Remember that you are starting to move into, your body is starting to shift into higher frequencies over and over and over, continuing. Remember that your body is still very dense. Remember that there is still dense consciousness that you've experienced externally that is going to be cleared out, which looks like emotions, thoughts, beliefs, ways of being, behaviors, addictions that are going to be in your face all the time as you're shifting frequencies. Just because you're moving into higher states of consciousness doesn't mean this density isn't going to continue to show itself. What a gift. Keep showing yourself, please. Remember that as the frequency continues to increase, you're going to start being more embodied in all of it, and you're going to start to feel your energetic field. So you're going to start to walk around resonating or not resonating. Remember that as the frequency starts to increase in your physical form, you're going to start to need, you're going to have to start being that resonance, that frequency. It's no longer good enough to just feel it and feel dissonant and feel like resonant. And, oh, this feels good. I should probably go do this. This doesn't feel good. I should probably, now you actually have to be it. You have to actually take action, right? That's what's happening. And remember, as all of this is happening because the light codes are turning on. The light codes are allowing us to access our multidimensionality. The light codes are allowing us to feel these higher states. The light codes are allowing us to be. It's all happening all together. And the light codes would only turn on, can only turn on, by the body receiving the high frequency light and the body assimilating, anchoring, and acclimating that light. Then the light codes start to turn on by the frequency increasing and by you embodying the body, by you waking up, by you getting conscious. The humans that are still unconscious, the humans that are out of body, the humans that are not seeing, feeling, and experiencing this, it's not a reality for them yet. It's not part of their now. It's our job as wayshowers to show them what's happening by being, not by preaching to them, Not by telling them they're wrong, not by saying, I'm ascending and you're not, you should really follow me. None of that, right? It's by being the higher state. It's by courageously walking through these stages. Because there's going to come a time where they're going to look back and say, oh my God, I remember when you were going through this, and now I am. Thank you so much. I can now watch. I know it's okay now because you went through it first. So before I go, just know that everything that's happened, first of all, this has never, we are walking through ascension blindly because this has never happened before, right? We don't have these ancient texts to look at and say, oh, this is what happened when I went through the ascension process. This is the big hurrah. This is what we've been waiting for thousands of years. So we are going through it blindly. We have no idea, like, what stage am I at? What's the next stage coming? Like, oh my God. We don't realize that being a hermit, by being alone, by craving solitude, that's an aspect of ascension. That's a stage of ascension, right? Having to separate from really, really deep relationships that on the external you're not supposed to do, that's part of the ascension for many of us, right? So there's all these things that are occurring in your now that are absolutely perfect and divine. It's exactly the way it's supposed to unfold. It doesn't mean that it feels good. It doesn't mean that it's going to make sense, right? But it's how the ascension process unfolds in your unique journey. And we need to honor it. We need to honor that desire of needing to be alone, regardless of what any other human says. Because remember, let them have their own signature. They like going out. They like going to parties. They like having dinners. They like whatever they want to do. And they're going to say, why don't you do this anymore? Why don't you like doing this? It's really good to socialize. It's really good to be with people. It's really good for your mental state. And you're going to be like, no, that's a paradigm that I'm not vibrating in anymore. I'm actually you're not going to necessarily say this, but I'm actually ascending and I'm showing myself the way. And you're actually noticing this, but you don't notice what you're noticing because you don't know that you're actually going to be ascending at some other now. But you'll be ascending too, and then you'll be being like, oh yeah, I remember when you went through the hermit stage. Now I'm going through it. Right? You don't necessarily tell them that because it's not your job or your role. Because you actually have no idea what that human's going to go through or what they're going to choose, right? They may never choose to go through the ascension process. It's completely choice, right? It's a choice to consciously wake up. It's a choice to consciously say, yeah, I'm going to consciously actively move into the fifth dimension and the sixth dimension and wherever else you want to go. It's a choice. Nobody pulls anybody into it, right? Okay. That is all, my loves. 1 hour, perfect time. I hope this was helpful. And another stage of the ascension that we're in. It's no joke. It is real as real can be. The best thing we can do for ourselves is to have compassion for our journey, for every other being on the earth plane, every being. How much compassion can we hold for ourselves and the other beings? And can we remember that everything that is occurring for you in your now is always moving you into the next highest state of consciousness. Always. Everything. I was laying in bed from 2 o'clock. First of all, I was an absolute zombie yesterday. Absolute. I had no energy. I could barely go get my coffee. I had no energy. And so I laid in bed from 2 until whenever, 6 a.m. or whatever, right? And I knew that there was nothing wrong with me. I knew that there was something energetically going on, and that's all that mattered. And I just gave into all of it, right? And we're learning how to do that more and more. But the point is that I know that everything that's happening is, for me, in my now, all of it is always to move me into the next highest state of consciousness. It's teaching me how to be in the higher states over and over and over and over. And my physical body, my physical form is doing it. My physical form is shifting me. Just because I hold higher states of consciousness, just because I hold higher dimensional frequencies, if my body doesn't anchor it, I can't be it. You can't be a frequency that your body hasn't anchored down. You can try to, but you'll be pummeled right back into where your body is. Your body is the anchor. So whatever your body is whatever frequency your body is holding, that's the frequency that you're going to be experiencing. And you can do your best to try to pull your body into a higher frequency, but your body's way too smart for that. It's way too intelligent, right? It's going to say, what are you doing? It's kind of not your job. Your job is to just stay embodied and to surrender and to stop trying to force anything. Know that you're all of these states in every now. And if you know that, you're not going to force anything. When I am forced to lay for however many hours in that bed, I don't say to myself, I'm in a lower state of consciousness, I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm not doing these, whatever it is, right? I say, oh my God, something amazing's happening. I'm still all the other higher states of consciousness that I felt in any other now. But in this now, this is what I'm feeling. So be it. So be it. It is what it is. Right? Different, though, than looping yourself in the old ways over and over and over, right? So there's old patterns that you can continue to play in. That's different. I've said this before. I don't want to go into it, but you want to be conscious of the old patterns, the old ways of being, and how you're continuing to sort of play in those. You want to get conscious of that. But anyway, there you go, my loves. I love you guys very much. And thank you for being here in the physical. Thank you for consciously ascending, courageously ascending, showing the way, being the way shower. Just courageously taking the next step. And, you're doing this for the rest of humanity. That's why you're doing it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but that's one of them. You're showing the way. We're doing it. We're doing it. I will see you guys next live. Whenever I pop on here again or in another video. Be gentle with yourselves. I love you so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye.